Good morning and welcome to Vic and Vern Sports Chat. I'm Vic and welcome to the Daily Sports Update Show. Yep, it is that time of the morning. Clearing the throat. Take a sip. Have the church bells ringing in the background. No, there you go. It's 7 o'clock in the morning Central European time, and it is our show as every day, 365 days a year. Here we go. Let's have a look at our topics today. Look, EuroLeague basketball, some exciting games there last night. NBA, NFL, NHL, football, Women's Champions League, NCAA basketball, darts, cricket, sumo, rugby. Yeah, big show this morning. Lots to get into and not a lot of time to do it in. So let's just stop talking about what we're going to do and let's just do it. There you go. Guys, thanks. Up to 110,711. So that's fantastic. Keep on liking, subscribing, hitting the notification button. We'll leave that heart out there. We're going to be nice and start with the ladies this morning. And it was Women's Champions League last night. Yep, and Vålerenga with a nice win there against AS Roma, 1-0. Brecken with a goal in the 40th minute there. Then Olympique Lyon beat Wolfsburg. That is a game of two big powerhouses in women's football in Europe. Both of them very good teams. Lyon winning there 3-1 against Wolfsburg. Hegerberg had 2 goals there for Lyon. Madrid and Paris drew 1-1. St. Polten lost 6-0 to Chelsea. St. Polten, a new team in there. St. Polten is obviously from Austria. And yeah, good win there for Chelsea. Sam Kerr had 2 goals there for Chelsea. So did Macario. She had also had 2 goals. So yeah, even an own goal from St. Polten, not that good. Then this evening there will be more Women's Champions League, and Barcelona will take on Leuven. Bayern Munich will take on Arsenal. Atletico Madrid, Juventus. Benfica against FC 20, and Manchester United against Paris Saint-Germain. Should be a cracking game there between United and Paris Saint-Germain. That is ladies, Women's Champions League football. Then we'll move on. We'll get into the NBA straight away. And yeah, that Nuggets game is still going on. I'm going to quickly go see if I can get it there for you guys. 1 second. Tell you what the score is. We'll start at the bottom with the Nuggets game. That's the end of the third quarter, and it is now 85-82 for the Nuggets. Oh, Jokic looking good again. Already up to 27 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 assists. But let's move on to the other games that are finished. The Raptors beat the Nets 119-109. Yeah, the Nets just not a good basketball team at the moment. Then the Grizzlies lost to the Knicks 120-133. Jalen Brunson with a nice evening there, 32 points, 10 assists. The Celtics lost. Celtics also a little bit in trouble. Obviously, they don't have Jason Tatum, who's injured. They lost to the 76ers 102-100. 76ers doing well. Edwards had 22 points there for a winning Sixers side. Jaylen Brown had 24 points for a losing Celtics team. The Warriors got thumped by the Thunder. 102-126. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 28 points and 11 rebounds. Then let me just have a look at that one quickly. We'll just get into that game a little bit more because I think the Warriors were not at full strength. But yeah, look, not a good night for the superstars there from the Warriors. I mean, Jimmy Butler, 12 points. Kuminga, 13 points. Steph Curry only had 11. Draymond Green had a terrible night. He only had 3 points. So it wasn't the greatest night if you're a Warriors fan. But yeah, season is early and the Warriors are actually doing quite well. And then last but not least, the Pacers. The Pacers lost 128-152 to the Jazz. The Pacers are just in one mess. I think their season is basically cooked. Markkinen had 35 points there for the Jazz. So that is looking good there. Just going to quickly go back up to the Nuggets game. That is now well in the fourth quarter, and the Nuggets are up 91-84. If you want the final result, join me for the ATP this afternoon across the pond. Everything North American sports. And we'll have all the results in there for that one. No tables today because it's all going to be part of the ATP show, across the pond show later. Then we move into the NFL. No games, but let me just quickly tell you what's coming up this weekend. And tomorrow evening, tomorrow evening, not this evening, tomorrow evening. Friday morning, 2 o'clock, Jets against the Patriots live on this channel because I am a Patriots fan, so we're going to be doing the Jets and the Patriots. Let's see what other Bills against the Buccaneers, another interesting game coming up there. Bengals, Steelers, always a grudge match. Lions, Eagles, Chiefs, Broncos. Lot of big games in the NFL. It is that time of the season. We're into week 11 already. You've got to start winning. Otherwise, playoffs are going to be gone quickly there. Then we move into the NHL. And also, there's one game that is not finished yet. I'll go have a look quickly there. If that, there you go. How far are we there? It is done. It is done. I can tell you that. And the Blue Jackets, let me put that in there quickly. The Blue Jackets did win. There you go. There it is. The Blue Jackets did win that one. So let's go through the results. The Maple Leafs from Toronto lost to the Boston Bruins 3-5. LA Kings beat the Montreal Canadiens 5-1. The Dallas Stars beat the Ottawa Senators 3-2. The Washington Capitals beat the Carolina Hurricanes 4-1. Calgary Flames lost to the St. Louis Blues 3-2. I told you those Blues are coming. The Sharks beat the Minnesota Wild 2-1. The Anaheim Ducks lost to the Colorado Avalanche, or they got avalanched 4-1. The Jets, the Winnipeg Jets beat the Vancouver Canucks in a battle of Canadian teams 5-3. And like I mentioned, the Columbus Blue Jackets beat Vern Seattle Kraken 2-1. So not that great for the Kraken this morning. Don't forget all tables, everything North American coming up this afternoon at 5 o'clock Central European time across the pond. We'll get into all of it. There's going to be NCAA basketball, men and women, college football. We'll talk about the WNBA and the contract negotiations there, all coming up. Last night, big night in the EuroLeague basketball. Some interesting results there. Dubai beating Red Star. That's the first loss for Sasha Obradovic as the new coach of the Red Star. They lost 102-86. Fenerbahce with a much needed win there, 84-75 against Maccabi Tel Aviv. Hapoel Tel Aviv, they are just rolling, baby. 114-89 against Baskonia. Then Bologna 99-89 against Anadolu. Valencia against Real Madrid. Good result for Valencia, 89-76 for Valencia. Partizan with also a much needed win against Monaco, 78-76, and the game Vern did live last night. 95 for Paris, 101 for Panathinaikos. What a debut by Kenneth Farid. Manimal, one of my favorite players when he was playing in the NBA. What an energetic player. Offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds, block shots. The man's an animal, man. That's why it's called Manimal. Be watching a lot more Panathinaikos. That was his first game for them. Then later today we have Olympiacos against Zalgiris live on this channel. Bayern against Barcelona. Milano against Villeurbanne. I can pump that in there already quickly. That is coming later this evening with Vern at 8 o'clock. This is your table at the moment. So Hapoel out on top. Maccabi out at the bottom. Couldn't be more different for the two teams from Tel Aviv. One on the top of the table, one at the bottom of the table. Yeah. Can't wait for them to play each other. That's going to be an interesting one. But that's your table. What is coming up? Don't forget, this week still all these games are going to be played on Thursday and Friday. Some interesting ones there as well. Anadolu Bayern, there's going to be a big one. Real Madrid, Panathinaikos, Fenerbahce, Hapoel, all on this channel. Make sure you check that out. Pump that one again. Join Vern tonight at 8 o'clock. Going to be a cracking game. Then, we'll move into a little bit of rugby. We do have the international fixtures coming up. Those are the fixtures of the week. But the news of the day was that this man, Lutiaga, he has been banned for 4 matches. It is what it is. I mean, I don't understand how World Rugby, some of these bans. Jan-Hendrik Wessels gets 9. Lutiaga gets 4. A Welsh player on the weekend tried to kick another player in the head. Doesn't get anything. I'm not quite sure how this works. I'm not saying there's any bias or anything like that. Fuck it. There's a lot of bias on there. But it wasn't a good tackle from Lutiaga. I would have seen it most probably upgraded to red in any case. But 4 games I find is quite harsh. But it is what it is. Look, if World Rugby gives harsh sanctions, I'm not against that. Just give them to... If they keep that up against everybody, and everybody that does something stupid gets 4, 5, 6, whatever games, fine with me. Stomp that out of rugby, definitely. But Luke de Jager out for 4 games. So he will not be in the Springbok squad on the weekend. I don't care if it's Irish, Swiss, Italian. That wasn't a good tackle. It was a red card. It was a red card. Maybe not a straight red, but it was a red. And he was going to be banned for 1 in any case. Normally you get 3 bans for a red card. Okay, you get 4. Well done to him. Then don't forget, on the weekend we do have a lot of rugby games coming up. Yes, South Africa will take on Italy. England, New Zealand, that's maybe the big one for the weekend. England, New Zealand, and then of course Ireland, Australia, another big important game. So some cracking rugby games on the weekend. Be sure to join us for that. Then we move all the way over there to the land of the rising sun, and it is of course Japan, and it is of course Sumo. And day 3 is in the books. That video from day 3 will come out later this evening. The roundup there with Vern. Before we get into it, we're talking about that. That'll come out later today. Here we go. Takanosho. He lost to Waka Motahura. So Waka Motahura moving to 2-1. Hiradomi beat Oho. So both at 2-1 at the moment. Oneshki doing well, the young Ukrainian. He beat Hokuyo, and he's up to 3-0. So he's one of the undefeated wrestlers at the moment. Kota Sakura lost to Takayasu. And Takayasu moves to 2-1. Kota Sakura falls to 1-2. Then Kirashima and Hoshoru. Hoshora getting a win there. Yokozuna, yeah, he bounced back a little bit. He's at 2-1. And of course, the big boy, Onosata. I actually watched that on NKH, I think it's called, or NHK, or what, I don't know. I watched that last night. Very impressive. I think it was the win was with an Oshidashi, a forward thrusting pusher out of the ring. So, yeah, I'm getting there. Soon I'll be the savant, and I'm more than some other people. Don't worry. I'm getting there. Then what's coming up today? Well, we got Wakamotohura taking on Takayasu. Oneshki got to take on Takanoshu. No, that shouldn't be a problem for Oneshki. Ura will take on Oho. Kota Sakura and Hakuya will face off. Kota Sakura definitely needs a win here. Then Onosato will take on Kirashima. I can't see Onosato losing this one. And Watata Takake, who is 0-3, will take on the Yokozuna Oshuryu. So let's see what happens there, man. Let's see what happens there. We move on. We leave the land of the rising sun, and we move to the boys on the Oki. Results last night from the Grand Slam of Darts. That was the last round of group play. Luke Littler beat Daryl Gurney 5-1. Connor Scott beat Karel Sadlerlek 5-3. Good morning, Cheslin. Then we go, Wesley Niemann beat Lisa Ashton 5-0. Josh Rock beat John van Veen 5-2. That's an upset for me. Nico Springer lost to Boog Reeves 5-3. Michael van Gerven beat Gary Anderson 5-2. Johnny Clayton beat Danny Noppert 5-4. And Lucas Venik beat Cameron Crabtree 5-1. So what does that mean? These are our 2, 4, 6, 8, last 16. So the first round of the last 16 will be played tonight. Luke Woodhouse will take on Ricky Evans, Gervin Price and Martin Schindler. Luke Humphries will take on Juren van der Velde, and Chris Dobie will take on Michael Smith. Michael Smith, a little bit of a resurgence. He's had a tough, he was world number 1 about 2 years ago, and just had a tough spell now. Then let's have a look at the rest of the last 16. Luke Svennig will take on Nico Springer. Josh Rock will take on Connor Scott. Luke Littler will take on Wesley Niemann, and Michael van Gerven and Danny Noppert in a clash of the Dutch Masters will face each off against each other. That'll be on Thursday. A little bit of cricket and Pakistan. That is a resurgence. Pakistan doing really well after destroying the South Africans. They've done really well, and they beat Sri Lanka yesterday by 6 runs. So well done, Pakistan, on the way up. Huh? Then we move over to NCAA basketball. Yes, it has started, and I'm going to give you some of the results. Crichton loses to Gonzaga 90-63. The Duke Blue Devils beat Army 114-59. Northern Arizona lose to Arizona State 84-49. Wake Forest losing to Michigan 85-84. That's a tight one. Then Delaware losing to BYU 85-68. We'll move on. Kentucky and Louisville. Now that is a grudge match. That's a beautiful basketball game. If I could have choose one to go watch, would have most probably been that one. 96-88. Louisville beats Kentucky. Florida State loses to Florida. So the Seminoles lose to the Gators 78-76. Also a match I could have gone to watch, definitely. Texas Tech, the Raiders, they lose to Illinois 81-77. Radford loses to North Carolina 89-74. Last but not least, let's get into it. Here we go. Central Arkansas lost to the Razorbacks of Arkansas 93-56. Also, Auburn beating Wofford 93-62. Ball State losing to Wisconsin 86-55. And Texas A&M Corpus Christi, I think that will be against Kansas 77-46. So, yeah. That's the show for today, guys. Don't forget, tomorrow, join me same time, same place. What's going on here? Have I got a little bit too much going on here? Why have I got... Am I lagging, guys? Am I lagging? You guys got to tell me if I'm lagging, yeah? Because on my... Let me have a look. Oh, no, that's just something else. All right. But hey, that's the show for today. I enjoyed it. Listen here, what's coming up? Across the pond at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Then Sumo's coming out later this evening. Basketball later this evening at 8 o'clock with Vern. Tomorrow, big as well. Morning show. DEFCON Rugby. Basketball. NFL. So you know this channel is busy. So like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. Enjoy your day. Stay healthy. Because at the moment, that flu bug is going around. I'm one of them that got it. And hey, I want to shout out to my nephew who was also feeling not so well. I phoned him yesterday. Dilly, my friend, my best friend, get well soon. There you go. So you guys have a great morning, man. Ciao, ciao.